What's up, you guys? It's Simone, aka Money Mo here, and we are back with another Money Mo Media. Auntie back, y'all. I was tired. I didn't feel like filming. You know, that's just the reality. I'm human, okay? But I'm back. but I'm back, and if you're new, okay, I may not be in the clubhouse, but when I'm on this mic and I'm speaking this W to you, I'm in the clubhouse. So here's a little clubhouse rules. We're not gonna have no Dodgers slander, no Lakers slander, no Rams slander, no Team USA slander, and we're not gonna tolerate the hate in women's sports. All right. So a lot has happened since I was being human and not in front of y'all recording because I've been catching up on these Z's. Okay. Um, a lot of great players breaking records, a lot of rookies making their mark. I have so many shout outs, so let's just get that rolling. I want to give a shout out to Caitlyn Clark for having her first triple double against the Liberty, and they got the W that game. Shout out to Angel Reese for racking up on them double doubles. And it's another rookie we don't really get to talk about as much. Jace Shelton from the Dallas Wings. I want to give a shout out to her for her finding her groove back with that team. And I want to give a shout out to a vet, Tina Charles, number 3 on the all-time scoring list. Shout out to her. Um, Shout out to Skylar Diggins for hitting her 4,500 point mark, and she's number 15 on the all-time WNBA scoring list. Man, shout outs keeping going. But last but not least, shout out to Asia Wilson for getting that top spot in that franchise scoring list. She passed Sophia Young. Okay.
The
And
Aces. Woo!
and I don't think people understand like how big that is because before I'm gonna give y'all a history lesson. Before they were the Las Vegas Aces, they were the San Antonio Stars. And they had this player on there. And they had Becky Hammond, but it was this player named Sophia Young. She was one of the I can't describe her game, but she was just so elite. Hooped at Baylor. Like she's probably like one of the reasons why Odyssey Sims, Brittany Griner, all them went to Baylor, but a hooper. And was the star for the San Antonio Stars. And the Stars have been done for a long time. If the fact that Asia Wilson passed that record is amazing. Asia Wilson's is in that top spot, and I think she's number 1 in a bunch of other categories too. But Asia Wilson's having a great season, a great run. Like I just want to thank the committee for pulling that nonsense they did last year because this year she's letting y'all know that she's number 1. I wish we had that sound, Dr. Umar.
She's number one.
She's number 1. We got to get that tag.
Shout out to
But
her. She for sure one of the goats. She's gonna lead Team USA out in Paris and
for
bring
sure,
it back.
they're going to go for their 8th straight goal. Like I might have to give me a Team USA Asia Wilson jersey.
Can we
But
talk Paris real quick?
can let me promote the games? Can we promote the games real quick? Because there's a lot of good games that's going to be on this weekend on national television. Saturday, Sunday vibes. Make sure y'all get y'all brunches, get that mimosa cracking. We got on Saturday we have the Liberty versus the Sky. I'm sorry, at 10 a.m. Pacific time. The Sparks versus the Wings at 12:30 Pacific time. Sunday we have the Mercury versus the Sun at 10 a.m. The Aces versus the Mystics at 12 p.m., followed by the Fever and the Lynx at 1 p.m. Mind you, all these games are Pacific time. And my apologies, I forgot to tell you guys what network and stuff is going to be on, but I could tell you the 3 networks. So look on y'all ESPN apps because most of these games will be on either ESPN, ABC, or CBS. Okay. Make sure y'all tune into those games because this is a lot of good games that's going to be on national television before the All Star break. Okay. Flix, you want to talk about Paris?
You don't want to talk about Paris.
Bonjour. They
Brittany
gonna go
Griner.
for their 8th straight gold.
Brittany Griner is supposed to be out.
Really?
Yes. Partly she's not traveling to Paris. It was a good replacement.
Hmm. Nafisia Collier might not be traveling either because she has a foot injury. I don't know when she's gonna be able to get back. So that's a good question. Like it's 2 possible spots that might be open.
Hmm.
Um, who would I think? They need to get Neko on there. I'm sorry. I'm
And
sorry.
and she already changed sides.
Did she accept the offer with the Niger with like a Nigeria team or what?
I'll confirm now. I believe she did.
Oh,
The people were bringing up John Claude Jones,
yeah,
and
for
of
sure.
course you got Caitlyn Clark in the wings waiting to get called. On her Rookie of the
Um,
Year campaign right now.
I would do Jonquil Jones for sure, but I honestly would pick another guard because she's gonna be because Caitlin Clark gonna have an Olympic run soon. Like just because she doesn't make this one, she's gonna make the next 4 to 6 Olympic teams. Like I'm not really worried about that. You know what I'm saying? Like I would give it to somebody that's like kind of like a vet that's like like that's kind of like still in their prime and it's kind of like okay like they're gonna throw the towel in like a season or two. Like let them get a piece of that pie. Like we see Clark, we see Reese, we see these rookies hooping, but it's like come on, like
So Tina Charles.
Tina Charles was an Olympian. I don't know if I don't know. I was thinking Aaliyah Boston. I was thinking Boston. I
Not
would
bad.
go with Jones. I would go with Jonquil Jones in Boston
Mm,
because I was gonna say Erika Gumawale, but she withdrew herself
yeah.
out of that conversation when they had trials. So I think it'd be nice if they add Jonquil Jones and Aaliyah Boston. Why not?
So to just to clarify, you said Rika Agumawale, she decided not to do trials with the team. She didn't practice with the USA team, so they didn't give her a
No,
chance.
she did. I remembered her saying something along those lines on Club Shay Shay where she withdrew her name out of the mix.
Hmm.
Yeah. So I don't know how that process works when you withdraw your name out. I don't think they'll be able to recall you or anything. I'm not familiar with the Team USA protocol, but it would be nice to see her. But I don't know how that would work if since she withdrew herself out. But Jonquil Jones and Aaliyah Boston wouldn't be bad, in my opinion. It gives them some length, gives them some height, and they could stretch the floor out by having Stewart play on the wing more. And you got three true bigs in Jones, Boston, and Wilson, and just have everybody else run the floor and play ball. Why not?
Yeah. Neka's definitely on that list. I think she's been denied a couple times trying to play for the Nigerian basketball team. So
I don't know why they denying her. See, like it's different. Like international, international ball. Everybody think the W got politics. International basketball is
yeah.
political,
Well, the reason they said it's because her long standing relationship with the Team USA. So
which
yeah,
makes sense because she's been going to their trials and stuff. Yeah, makes sense.
a little weird. But okay. Well, we did talk about the Olympics. You want to talk about the All Star game? They are going to play the team, right?
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the All Star game. I think Team USA is gonna win. Um, I don't know by how much. I was gonna say they was gonna win by. I said they was gonna win by 25. But now that Collier's down, Griner's down, it kind of makes them look really small. So it might actually be a close game, but I still got Team USA winning.
I mean, nobody's going to stop Asia Wilson at the end of the day anyway.
That,
That's
but that's what I'm saying. And like Team
like,
USA got because the W is already the top 10% of female hoopers in the world. The Team USA is the top 5% of the best female hoopers in the world. And then the United States, like it's the cream of the crop. But I feel like Team
yeah.
WNBA is going to give them a run for their money for sure. It's going to be exciting, but I got Team USA winning. Like there's nothing else to really say.
I think next year Come on, I wait. Well, I agree with you. First of all, I agree with you. I think Team USA is going to mop the floor with the whatever All Star team this is.
Yeah,
Can't
for sure.
be Carter and Caitlyn Clark injuries. They're going to mop the floor with them. But I think that even moving forward, just like how you talking about how the top 10% of the players play in the W. Maybe the WNBA, plays an All Star game where they play against one of the teams down in London or something in England, and really put a smackdown on them. Kind of what they do.
Um,
We play
that's
actual.
gonna be that's gonna be a conflict just because a lot of international basketball is kind of year round.
Mhm.
It's kind of year round, and basketball international is different than basketball in the States. And it's kind of like what I said last episode. If the United States put a different respect on women's sports, just like how the women's sports is viewed, it would be set on a higher caliber. Like in other countries, like bad women's basketball is up there with like soccer and all them. It's not like that out here. You
Mhm.
know what I'm saying? It's not like that out here. I feel like it's just how a country views women's sports. Because a lot of these girls in the States could go overseas and they're treated like superstars, the Beatles.
Yeah, no facts. I just wonder, if we could. I think it would be good to show our country in the W in a positive light by smacking on a team from another league. That's all. Bottom
But
line.
they've been doing that though, like, because there's been times in the W where teams will have like little exhibition games and they'll have like teams from other countries come out and play, and it's the same thing, but it's just kind of like how people view sports, right? Like this, it happened this season when the Las Vegas Aces played at the University of South Carolina. I forgot which national team they played, but it just made sense for them to play at the University of South Carolina because that's the house that Asia Wilson built, and it's nothing like a homecoming and like packing out that arena to see South Carolina's very own in her professional light. You know what I'm saying? Like it's just like a homecoming. Like I feel like if they did more stuff like that, that would be dope. And it would have been nice to see like Team USA go on a better tour run playing against more college teams. Because I think this past season, Team USA, they only played Duke and Tennessee.
Yeah.
And it would have been interesting to see them play Iowa, even though they would have scored triple digits on them. But it's just like how you have the quote unquote most talked about player and you're not having competition playing against her. You know what I'm saying? Like I feel like they did better with that in the prior years, like when Sabrina Ionescu was at Oregon. And
Mhm.
Team USA went down
Right.
to Oregon and played them, and she was hooping. Because at first, like
Tough.
I said, remember I told you before, Sabrina had to grow on me. Like
Mhm.
she really didn't start growing on me until she was hooping against Team USA when she was at Oregon.
Mhm.
That's when it was like for me, like, okay, like I have to see more.
Yeah. And even you brought the Aces game. Yeah, you're right. The Aces beat the Puerto Rican national team 102-50.
Yeah.
South Carolina.
Hmm.
Need to see more of that. I like that. I like that.
And then it's good for the other teams too, because those national teams, it's like an audition for them. Because a lot of them, even though their
Right.
teams out there is cracking and they get like the love and recognition, they somehow still want to be in the States.
They want to be in the
So
W.
it's
Yeah.
right. So it works good for both sides. But I just need the United States to get a better view of women's sports. And it's like I said before, like how I say in the chat, less of a fad. I need more respect on it. I'm serious. I'm serious because I one of these episodes I got to do a history. Like I gotta get my school board and I gotta point out when it was a fad, when it died off, when it was a fad. Because I gotta show people the trend. Because people think I'm a little loony. I feel like Chicken Little when I talk like this.
Well, let's get into this MVP ladder. It's changed.
It's changed, and y'all was I know y'all was talking all that raw about like, dang, when she gonna do an MVP letter? It changed, and
The OGs fell off the list.
relax, relax. Nafisia Collier fell off the list because she had a foot injury. You guys, how cannot judge if you're valuable if you're injured.
All right, now do Dewana Bonner.
Um, she, she wasn't doing bad, but it was just other players that caught my attention. For real, she's still hooping. It's just other players that caught my attention, and it's players that's putting their teams in the mix. And their teams did a full 720, not a 360, but they did a 720. That means they lapped around twice. If y'all don't know y'all math. Um, let's get started. Number 4 on the MVP ladder, I got Jewel Lloyd. Yes, Jewel Lloyd from the Seattle Storm.
The Storm.
She's averaging 20 points and 4 assists. Even though her stats were similar to last season, she's now in a position this season to where she could be in that conversation because even though she has help with Skylar Diggins Smith and NECA, she's still valuable. She's still putting up golden mama numbers. They're in the top 5, they're in the top 6. Um I could see them going to the finals, especially when Nafisha Collier down and them capable of beating the Aces. Like I could see the Seattle Storm making it to the finals. Okay? That's all I'm gonna say on that. At number 3, we got Kalia Copper. My girl, Kalia Copper. Y'all know I love Kalia Copper. Shout out to Rutgers, Big Ten Conference. Yeah. Okay. She's sitting there with 23 points, 4 rebounds, and 2 assists. Um, over the weekend, last weekend actually, I got the chance to see the Phoenix Mercury play the Sparks. And Kalia Copper hasn't missed a beat. Like she's still hooping like how she was with the Sky, but this is still her team too. Like with DT kind of like being out is mainly at for Phoenix, it's the Kalia Copper and Natasha Cloud show because they're both very lethal and aggressive. Kalia Copper gets to the bucket. She could stop and hit that mid range. She brings the energy. She leads the charge for that team. She leads the charge for that team. I don't know if y'all remember, it was a Commissioner's Cup game where she made a game winner. So the fact that they trust her with the ball at crunch time, she's very valuable to that team. And she's going to be the reason why that team makes that playoff push and keeps making that playoff postseason run. All right. Number 2, we got Stewie, man. Stewie just doing Stewie things. Y'all can hate it. Y'all can love it. The numbers don't lie. The New York Liberty is Breonna Stewart's team. Even though she has a nice cast of teammates around her, that's still her team. You're you're not gonna say the New York Liberty. You're gonna say Breonna Stewart and the New York Liberty. All right. And sitting at number 1, the Queen, Asia Wilson. Asia Wilson. Last game, she had 33 points and 18 rebounds. Y'all can't look. Don't argue with me. Argue with your mama. That's the ladder right now. And I'll probably give y'all another ladder after the All Star break. I don't know yet, but that's what I got so far.
It's not bad. It's not
I
bad.
know it's not. You
Very
didn't have to tell
youthful.
me. You
It's
didn't have to tell me.
a youthful list, Not
Not
surprised Asia
youthful.
Wilson
They're
there.
all vets. They're all vets. What you talking about?
Well, compared to you had like real veterans the first row
These
around.
are real veterans. They've been in the league for over 5 years.
Yeah,
I feel like a real I feel like
you
a real vet
had
is over
plus,
5 years.
but you had the 10+ vets. You know what I mean?
Who?
On a Bonner,
Just one?
OG right there. But I will say this: I think this. I don't know what your MVP ladder looks like. Mine looks similar to this. I might even roll with the same 4 people. But Asia Wilson is head and shoulders above the next closest person, no matter who it is, even if it's the Gold Mamba. The head and shoulders above them.
Making my hair hurt, Flicks. Jeez Louise. Making my hair hurt. Like I know you just like how you just gonna say, "Oh, it's a good list," and then just gonna put this 2 cents. Go, come on, let's go to the next topic. Come on, give me these grades, man. We gonna do grades, okay? So
Team
Flicks,
grades.
Boss Man Flicks had this idea that I should grade these teams, right? So he's gonna either today. I don't know if he's gonna give me the Eastern Conference or the Western Conference. So he's just gonna throw them out to me right now, and I'm gonna give him a grade, and I'm gonna explain why this is not no back and forth. What I say is final and it's stamped. And it's kind of we're kind of at the halfway point. I feel like we should do it now before the All-Star break because I feel like after the All-Star break it'll be too late because it'll be the Olympic break. All right? So
It's
let's
a
see.
bunch of little naps.
Flix, you give me the East or the West?
East or the West? Well, I think you know this is coming. We're going with the West.
Typical. Okay.
We're going with the West. And the
Typical.
first team we're going to talk about is the Los Angeles Sparks. Go.
F. I was playing. ah. Okay. No, I'm not even gonna do an F. I'm gonna give them a D.
Mm.
I'm gonna give them D, like 60%, just because it's kind of like they have some games this season where you see the potential, but record wise, it's not giving. Like, it's not giving. And the fact that you look decent on paper with having a championship caliber coach and Kurt Miller, you have a number 2 pick, you have a number 4 pick. You really don't do too much in free agency, but you pick up pieces that you need. It's just as a team, they're not being consistent. So at this point, you can't really blame a coach because he changed the lineup up multiple times. As players, is like locking in and fit into a system, right? So that's why they get a D for me. And it's like they got potential in Hamby, and like the rookies, one you got one rookie in Brink that's foul prone, but she plays aggressive, right? And then you have Rakia Jackson, who's an all around scorer, and that's one of my favorite rookies. But like when I was to the game Sunday, I seen she kind of has spurts where like in the offensive set it wasn't clicking for her. You could just kind of tell, like, a lot of ball players could tell when someone either doesn't know the play or you're missing the wrong read on the play. But she's so good to where like, okay, if she missed the read, she was able to create her own shot and score. A lot of times you're not going to be able to get away with that. But I feel like she's been getting away with that now because she's a rookie, she's still new, and like they're still trying to get familiarized with her game as far as like scout teams and as well as her teammates. So that's my final grade. Ugh, the fact that I even gave my team a D is embarrassing. Okay, next team.
Oh, jeez. All right. Let's get into it. Let's talk about the Minnesota Lynx. Currently number one in the West, 16-7 right now.
A. They get an A. A. They made a huge turnaround from last season. Remember, we was on their head. They started off 0-6, and then they steadily made that push to even make it to the postseason. This year, they picked up some solid pieces in free agency. They picked up a nice solid pick in the draft, and it's coming together. Like they they improved on defense. Their shooting percentage improved, field goal percentage and 3-point percentage from last year. So they get an A. And the fact they're in their number 1 spot, it's an A. I think the thing for me that really put the icing on the cake was them picking up Courtney Williams because she just provides this energy and this spark and the plus of Caleb McBride having that confidence again. It's kind of like I'm seeing that Caleb McBride when she was with the Aces, like just that scoring machine. And the fact that I'm seeing that with Minnesota, I love it.
All
Next
right.
team,
Okay. Underperforming team. This team is currently the worst team in the W right now.
my
The
Dallas Wings.
Wings.
I gotta give them a D. I'm giving them a D because it's kind of like of what they were given. They picked up good pieces in the draft. It's kind of hard to win games when almost 40 points is hurt. Was hurt at one point. You had Natasha Howard and Satu Sabali, they were hurt. Them combined, they was averaging about 40 points. So let's Flicks, can you do this math for me real quick? Let's do 40 plus 27.
Jeez, it's a lot of points.
67, right? That's 67 points. With those three players of Agumawale, Satu Sabali, Natasha Howard, they combined for 67 points. 40 of them points is gone. Was gone for majority of the season. How can you win games like that? When those are three players you kind of run your sets around, right? And that means you have like younger players that got to step up. But even though they had a D, I'm excited that to see Maddie Segrist step up. And for y'all that's not familiar with Maddie Segrist, she's a hooper. She's a hooper. She was like the number one scorer at Villanova. Hoop, she could score. The fact that last year she didn't get her no opportunity and she's getting that now, I like that. I like that Shelton's getting the opportunity to get some good reps in and get comfortable because she provides a good spark for them too, just because she plays in that Dallas Wings type of flow where she could shoot the three, play defense, and y'all know she went to Ohio State. So if you don't play defense, you don't get on the floor for Ohio State. So they did good draft wise, but record wise and the fact that they had all them injuries back to back, that's a D. The fact they went on that playoff run last season to now being on the bottom, it's a D. I gotta give it a D. I hate to see it. I felt like if they were a little healthy and they were in the mix, it would have been a C, B or a C, but we gotta give them a D.
Well, climbing up a little bit higher, you talked about them a little bit earlier. The Seattle Storm,
They get an A.
currently 15-8,
Let me tell you why.
one game out of first.
They they didn't they didn't make the playoffs last season. Jewel Lloyd needed help. What did they do in free agency? Who they pick up? They picked up two quality players in Skylar Diggins Smith and Neko Bumake. Right? Man, I say more. And then you got your second year player, Jordan Horton, improving in the numbers. So now in their starting five, you have five players who can give you double figures every night. And they had a couple games this season where they had at least four players in double figures. Some games they had all five players in double figures. So the attack could come anywhere with that team. And they did a full 720, which means they did two laps. They not only in the mix to make the playoffs, they in the top of the West. A 720. That's an A. Come on.
Good A for the Storm. All right. Just below them, got the Mercury at 12-11. Seems like there's a big jump between 5 and 6. Do you think the Mercury can close the gap, and what do you think their grade is?
I'm gonna give them a B. I'm gonna give them a B, just because of where they at in the standings. But they did a great job of picking up a good coach, and their coach came from the NBA, by the way. Got a good coach. Um, they picked up Cloud and Copper in free agency, and they're somehow making it work. They're making it work. Um, they get a B for me because it's a couple. I would like to see Sophie Cunningham get more touches, get more threes, because that'll make them more dangerous. Um, I want to see them get Brittany Griner involved more in certain sets instead of them just kind of living off the outside shots and relying on those guards so much. It needs to be kind of like I don't want to say like a push pull, but they need to work together to make them harder to stop. So that's why they get a B. I think they need to find a different type of set to where they could get Brittany Griner some more touches so she could be more aggressive, because I don't want to see her out there just running up and down, because I already know she's going to give me double digit rebounds. I feel like she needs to be averaging more double doubles, and she could average more double doubles by getting more touches, But it's kind of a power struggle, right? Because Kalia Copper is going to take about 12 to 15 shots a game. Cloud going to take between 6 to 10 shots a game. So that's something they have to figure out within the coaching staff and their rotations. So that's why they get a B for me.
Hey, they give them a lot of grace. You know, a lot of people will be saying they're underperforming for the type of players they got, especially getting Griner back and adding Copper to the mix.
But how you think, how are they underperforming? Tell me. Like what makes you think they're underperforming?
I mean, this team, you think they'd be really, truly in the hunt for the playoffs right now. I don't want to say they're out of it, you know, because they're still one of the top teams in the league, on the top six. But further Mercury, getting Brittany Griner back, picking up Copper in the offseason, I would have wanted some of the success that the Seattle Storm are having right now, you know, given the fact that the roster makeup is actually pretty good based on what they had last year.
But the thing is their roster is not bad. Like they play they play fast, don't get me wrong, but I feel like Seattle Storm plays faster. Seattle Storm plays faster. It's like the Mercury plays fast, but then you got to remember you have 6'8". So you got to kind of be able to slow the pace down, but you got to get her touches. But you got two guards that could really go and that need touches too. It's more of a struggle of how do you want the charge to be ran? Do you want Copper and Cloud? Because I like the Copper and Cloud show. I seen them when they played LA. Cloud had 30. Kalia Copper almost had 30. She was probably like 5 or 6 points away from it. And it worked. And I feel like Griner and Sophie Cunningham need more touches just so they could be lethal. Once they figure out how to get more players more touches so everyone could be just as successful, they would be really scary. But they're scary right now with just those two hooping and scoring like that. Like literally, Copper and Cloud had like 50 something points between them. So that could be any given night they could do that. So that's why they get a B.
Gotcha. Shout out to the Phoenix. And then lastly, we got the Las Vegas Aces. Do this and get out of here.
Um, I give them a B. I give them a B. I feel like everybody's expectations of them is super high because they were the back-to-back champs, and the last 2 seasons they probably had a combined loss of like 7 games, and I feel like their expectation is set so high, and people are kind of like worried or scared that they're in the top four, top five, and it's like there's nothing for them to be scared about. Like they're actually in a good spot. It's just other teams in the league play chess. They picked up pieces so they could match up better with this team. But the one person on this team that's really surprising me, what is not really a surprise, but that's really stepping up is Kelsey Plum. Kelsey Plum is being more aggressive and she's having those games where she's in the 20 range. She's shooting the three more. She's more aggressive. It's not no lackadaisical smooth play because it's not lackadaisical, it's more smooth. She's more of an attack mode now, and I like it. Now they got Gray back, so it's not that relief or stress of getting everybody situated and getting everybody in the right spot. So I think they're in a good spot. And now the pressure is not on them. So I think they're going to be more comfortable and more relaxed playing.
They're currently 9-1 in their last 10 games, man. So shout out to my Aces getting things
And
back.
just because Gray's back.
Hello. Well, that was the Western grades. We pretty much got through everything.
Okay, and before we go, I know we haven't had fits in a while, but shout out to the Seattle Storm because y'all been on next the whole season. The whole season. Tens across the board for the Seattle Storm. Tens across the board. Okay. But I appreciate y'all for staying in and tapping in with us. Make sure y'all like and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on Instagram. Tell a friend to watch the show. We will be back. I don't know yet. But just be sure to check out the All-Star game
Stay tuned
next
for a pick and
Saturday.
pop. Stay tuned for a pick and
Oh
pop. Maybe
yeah, I might give y'all a
All-Star
pick a pop.
maybe do that.
There we go.
All right.
Balance.